Do you feel like something is different happening around you, but you can't explain it? You know that sudden peace in the midst of chaos, or that ringing in your ears that appears out of nowhere, maybe even a light that flashes for no reason, or a sweet scent that appears out of nowhere. I'm going to tell you a spiritual truth that many people ignore. These are signs, real signs, and they could mean that angels are in your home right now. Most people go through these moments and don't pay attention. But those who have faith and spiritual sensitivity can see that God is communicating, and the angels are working silently to bring comfort, protection, and revelation. In this video, I will show you the 9 hidden signs that reveal that the angels are around you. And more than that, I will teach you how to identify, interpret, and respond to these signs in a spiritual and practical way. Many people who watch videos on this channel are not subscribed, and so they end up missing out on content that could transform their spiritual lives. So, before you forget, click the subscribe button now, turn on notifications, and join this community of faith. Because what you will learn today could change the way you see the spiritual world forever. Don't leave this video for anything. What you'll discover here may explain things you've felt, seen, or even ignored thinking it was nonsense. But the spiritual world is real. The signs are real. And the angels are closer than you think. You know, my dear friend, there are times in life when everything around us seems like a whirlwind. Financial problems, family arguments, anxiety for no apparent reason. But suddenly, something changes. It's as if a gentle breeze invades your soul, and without warning, a deep peace settles in your chest. This is not just emotional or psychological, it's spiritual. It's the presence of angels manifesting themselves in silence. When they come near, they bring with them the essence of heaven, peace, light, comfort, and if you've ever felt this in the midst of chaos, know that you've received one of the sweetest signs of divine protection. This peace that comes without any logical reason often comes in response to a whispered prayer in the middle of the night, or even as a response to a tear that fell without words. Angels hear what the mouth cannot always say. They perceive the cries of the heart, and when they surround us with their presence, it is as if heaven itself were saying, "You are not alone." In John 14:27, Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. And believe me, when this peace comes without explanation, it is as if he were fulfilling this promise right there, in your environment, in your home." Just imagine a mother praying for her son who left home without giving any news, and out of nowhere she feels that serene peace, as if a voice were saying, "He is in my care." Or a worker who loses his job, and instead of the expected anguish, feels only tranquility. This is a sign. This is presence. It is protection that cannot be seen but can be felt, and it is not an illusion. It is heaven approaching with soft light, with invisible comfort, touching the soul in a way as real as a hug. This experience is even more profound when it is accompanied by intuition. Do you know that certainty that everything will work out, even if the scenario says otherwise? That is when faith is strengthened. It is the Spirit testifying to the angels that God's plan is still in place. At these times, gratitude begins to blossom, even before the miracle happens. And that is where the true power of prayer lies, not as an automatic repetition, but as an intimate dialogue with the Father and with the messengers he sends to protect us. So when this serenity comes to you, don't ignore it. Acknowledge it. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Be thankful, because heaven has just touched your life. And that is a privilege. It is a reminder that God sees you, that the angels are there, working behind the scenes of your existence. And maybe, just maybe, this is the most loving way to prepare yourself for what comes next. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about in the next sign. Now let me tell you something curious. You know that sudden ringing in your ears that appears out of nowhere when everything is silent. Many people ignore it or attribute it to something physical, and sometimes it is. But there are times when this sound doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. It's like a subtle touch from heaven, a call from the angels saying, "Hey, pay attention." It's as if the spiritual world is trying to break through the barrier of the invisible to deliver a message to you. This is not an invention. It's a real sign, full of light and purpose. And when you pay attention, you'll realize that this sound has a time to arrive, usually when your soul is most receptive. This type of buzzing, my friend, often occurs during moments of deep prayer, or right after an important conversation, a decision to make, or even when you are reflecting on something serious. It does not come alone. It usually comes accompanied by a strong intuition, as if the heart is saying, "Listen better. There is something there for you to understand." Remember the story of Samuel? In 1 Samuel 3:10, God called the young man saying, "Speak, for your servant is listening." Sometimes that is what buzzing is. God calling through His angels for you to stop everything and listen to what He wants to say. Many people receive answers like this and don't even realize it. They are there praying, asking for direction, and suddenly a sharp, brief sound. The spirit becomes quiet, the thoughts align. What was confusing becomes clear. It is as if the spiritual environment opens up for an instant to let a divine message pass through. At these times, the best thing you can do is stop, close your eyes, and ask silently, "Lord, I am listening. What do you want to show me?" And wait, because angels speak more through the peace they bring than through audible words. Some people hear this buzzing sound while reading the Bible, and suddenly a verse jumps out at them as if it were written just for them. Others feel it before making a difficult decision, and when they follow that intuition that came with the sound, they realize it was the right choice. It can't be explained logically, but those who live it know. It's at this point that faith meets the supernatural, and the presence of angels becomes undeniable. They are like silent friends who wake us up with subtle gestures, a sonorous touch to say, "You are not alone, we are guiding you." So the next time that buzzing noise appears, don't complain or be alarmed. Honor this moment, breathe, quiet your mind, and listen with your heart. Because when heaven speaks, it doesn't shout, it whispers, and only those who are attentive hear it. This is a special sign, one, that reveals not only their presence but also their protection. Angels don't just surround us, they communicate. And often, the only thing they ask is, pay attention. And by doing so, you prepare yourself to recognize even more signs, like the next one, which arrives with an unexpected glow. Have you ever noticed a flash of light passing by you, even when there is no light nearby? Or perhaps a subtle glow in the corner of your eye, and when you look, nothing? Well, it is. It is not an illusion, and much less a coincidence. These flashes of light are one of the most beautiful and impactful signs of the presence of angels. When they approach, they bring with them the very essence of divine light. And that light, my friend, sometimes escapes, manifests, and touches our world. It is a heavenly reminder that darkness does not have the final word, and that there is active protection happening all around you. Angels are spiritual beings created by God to minister on our behalf. And as it is written in Hebrews 1:14, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? When this light appears, it is as if the spiritual world parts the veil for an instant, to let you see, even if only briefly, that there is something greater taking care of everything. And this light is not just any light. It brings peace, reveals intuition, calms the soul, it consoles. And when it appears, it always leaves the certainty, I have been visited by something holy. Many people only notice these flashes during prayer. Other times, it happens in moments of deep pain, when all seems lost. And then, a light a soft beam that touches the environment. It may seem discreet, but the effect it has on the heart is immense. You feel as if you have been wrapped in an invisible blanket of love, and a wave of gratitude wells up in your chest. It is as if heaven is saying, "We are with you, do not fear." At these times, it is impossible to hold back the tears, because it is not just light, it is presence, it is God sending his messengers to remind you that you are too precious to be alone. And there's more. Each type of light brings a message. The intense white light usually indicates purity and spiritual rebirth. The soft golden light speaks of love, of divine warmth, like an invisible embrace. And if you see multicolored lights, believe me, it's an invitation to reflect on your journey, your decisions, your gifts. Angels also communicate this way, with beauty, with art, with symbols that touch not only the eyes, but the soul. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that these signs always appear when you need guidance or comfort the most. So the next time an unexpected light crosses your path, don't be alarmed. Don't try to find too much of an explanation. Close your eyes for a second and feel. Say a prayer, give thanks, and ask for wisdom to understand what this manifestation wants to reveal. Because in that moment, the heavens moved in your favor. And the presence of the angels, this presence that many doubt, manifested itself in a way as concrete as a hug. And it is with this light that we move forward, because the next sign comes with a sweet scent and equally divine. Now tell me, have you ever felt a sweet and captivating perfume appear out of nowhere? You are alone at home, with no candles lit, no flowers nearby. And suddenly the room is filled with a soft aroma of roses, lavender, vanilla, or something that you can't even clearly identify, but that makes you smile and take a deep breath. Well, my friend, know that this is one of the most delicate and loving signs of the presence of angels. They manifest themselves in this way, in a subtle way, bringing peace, awakening intuition, and enveloping you in an atmosphere of comfort and protection. God is so detail-oriented that he even uses aroma to communicate. And the angels, as heavenly messengers, carry this divine fragrance with them. In Song of Solomon 1:3 it is written, "The fragrance of your ointments is sweet, your name is like ointment poured forth." These spiritual perfumes are not mere smells. They are invisible touches of care, expressions of heavenly love, making themselves present in our daily lives. They appear as an answer to a silent prayer, as a sign that heaven has heard what no one else has. Some people smell this perfume when they pray for their children, others while they listen to a hymn or read the Word of God. There are those who smell it when they remember a loved one who has passed away, as if that scent was saying, "We are still close by." It is also common for this to happen during a moment of emotional surrender, such as a sincere cry or even a deep gratitude. And then, in the midst of this inner turmoil, the perfume appears, light, discreet, but so real that it seems to touch even the memory. Angels do this. They surround us with love, even when we cannot see them with our eyes. Each fragrance can carry a message. The smell of roses, for example, is often associated with the presence of the Virgin Mary, according to many Christian accounts. Lavender conveys serenity and healing. Vanilla or honey can signify acceptance, a reminder that God knows your pain and is offering comfort. Whatever the scent, the experience usually triggers a response. The heart calms, thoughts become orderly, and peace, the peace that only heaven can give, descends upon the soul like an invisible balm. So, when that unexpected scent fills your environment, stop for a moment, breathe deeply, close your eyes, be grateful. Because what you are feeling is a touch of the sacred. It is heaven manifesting itself in a sensorial, loving, intimate way. The angels are close, surrounding you, guiding you, reminding you that you are loved, much more than you can imagine. And as that heavenly aroma dissipates in the air, a new sign approaches, this time not through the sense of smell, but through the skin. And that is what we are going to talk about next. Have you ever felt that shiver that starts at the back of your neck, runs down your shoulders, and runs through your entire body for no apparent reason? A gentle chill, an almost electric sensation that doesn't come from the cold or fear. It comes from something higher. Well, I tell you, my friend, this is spiritual. These shivers are signs of the presence of angels. When they approach, their divine energy comes into contact with our human sensitivity, and our bodies respond. It's heaven touching our skin. It's the invisible making itself felt, even if it's not yet visible. This type of manifestation is very common in moments of sincere prayer, reading the word, or during a praise song that touches the heart deeply. Have you ever heard a song and suddenly felt goosebumps all over your body? It wasn't just emotion. It was spiritual intuition. It was comfort coming. It was protection descending. Job describes an experience like this in Job 4:15. A spirit passed before me. The hair of my flesh stood on end. It's not something new. It's ancient, biblical, and profoundly true. Angels are still at work, and often our skin is the first place we feel it. But make no mistake, these chills don't just happen. They usually come as a response. When you're in distress, crying out for guidance, and suddenly this sensation envelops your body. It's as if the angels are saying, "Calm down, we're here." Sometimes they come as confirmation, when you need to make a decision, and as you think about the right choice, you feel that wave of chills accompanied by peace. Other times, they come as a divine embrace in moments of sadness. It's the invisible comfort that only the heavens can offer. I've heard stories of people who felt deep chills while praying for someone, and soon after that person called, saying they felt relief or were healed. This is no coincidence. This is a spiritual connection. It is the Holy Spirit working with the angels to make us instruments of love and prayer. And if you cultivate a life sensitive to the sacred, you will notice that these signs become more frequent. They do not happen to those who live on autopilot, but to those who have a heart open, even if silently, to hear God's touch. So if you feel an unexpected chill, don't treat it as something trivial. Recognize it. It's a sign. It's a presence. It's light piercing your flesh. It's a reminder that you're not alone, and never have been. Angels walk beside you even when your eyes can't see them, and they use your own body as an instrument to reveal that they're close by. And you know what? They don't stop there, because sometimes they even leave physical traces, like feathers. And that's exactly what we're going to see next. Imagine the scene. You're cleaning the house, rummaging through a drawer, making the bed, and suddenly, there it is, a feather, small, light, delicate, and most intriguingly, in a place that makes no sense at all. No pillows are torn, no windows are open, no birds are nearby. And then your heart tightens slightly, your eyes fill with emotion, because deep down, something inside you recognizes, this is not just a feather, this is a sign, it is presence. It is the silent visit of angels, leaving a physical mark on your path. Feathers are considered by many to be little reminders of heaven. And this is no coincidence. They symbolize lightness, ascension, spirituality, everything that angels represent. When a feather appears in your environment, especially in moments of prayer, pain, doubt, or gratitude, it is as if the spiritual world leaves a folded note on the ground saying, "We are with you." And believe me, this type of sign is one of the most direct. As it is written in Psalm 91:4, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." And the most beautiful thing is that each feather color can carry a different message. White is a classic. It represents purity, peace, protection. Finding one of these at home is like receiving a hug from heaven. Gray feathers speak of balance, of answers in the midst of doubt. Golden feathers, oh, these are rare and special, can mean blessings about to arrive, promises being fulfilled, spiritual revelations that are yet to come. And even colorful, unusual feathers can indicate that angels are interacting with you in an intimate, personal, unique way. It is the divine molding itself to your reality. I have a friend who prayed daily for comfort after the loss of his father. He says that for weeks he started finding white feathers in the same place in the house, next to the armchair where his father used to pray. This was no coincidence. It was an answer. It was heaven saying, "Your cry has been heard. There is comfort for your pain." It is this kind of sign that changes a person's day. Because, let's face it, when you find something like this on the ground, what rises is your faith. It is as if God is saying, "Hey, I take care of the details. Do you really think I would leave you without care?" So, my brother, if one day you find a feather without an explanation, don't sweep it away. Don't throw it away without thinking. Hold it with care, pray, give thanks, ask for discernment, because that little piece of lightness may be carrying the answer to something you didn't even dare ask for. Angels are discreet, but they leave traces. And if you are sensitive, you will see a message of love in every detail. And speaking of messages, the next sign is one of the most powerful: dreams and visions that bring revelations as clear as daylight. Now tell me honestly, have you ever had a dream so vivid, so powerful, that you woke up with the feeling that you had received a message from above? Or have you ever been wide awake and had a sudden vision, an enlightened thought that seemed not to be yours? Well, my friend, do not underestimate these experiences. When angels wish to communicate, they do not always use audible words. Often they speak through images, symbols, and scenes that touch our souls while our bodies rest or our minds are silent. These dreams and visions are not figments of the imagination. They are signs, they are presence, they are protection. In the Bible, we have several accounts of men and women who received heavenly messages through dreams. Remember Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus? He was warned by an angel in a dream to flee with Mary and the child to Egypt, Matthew 2:13. Without that warning, the story could have taken a completely different turn. This is how God works. He reveals, anticipates, consoles, and guides. And often, angels are the bearers of this revelation. That is why, when you dream of heavenly ladders, lights, or striking words, it is good to stop and pay attention. Dreams about angels are not common, but when they do come, they bring a different kind of peace. Sometimes you see a luminous being. Other times, it's just a presence that transmits peace, a phrase that answers a prayer you've been praying for weeks. There are dreams that don't make much sense right away, but they leave a mark. You wake up feeling light, calm, as if you've been touched by heaven. And it's not just night dreams that speak for themselves. Visions can also happen during prayer, meditation, or even in moments of deep gratitude. Your intuition is activated, your mind clears, and you understand things you wouldn't understand on your own. Many great moments of spiritual transformation begin with a dream. Some say that it was in a dream that they received the call to the ministry. Others say that a vision saved their lives, taking them away from a path of destruction. When angels act in this way, they bring revelations, answers, and above all, comfort. Because God knows our limitations, He knows that we cannot always hear when He speaks to us amidst the noise of everyday life. That is why He speaks in the stillness of the early morning, when the soul is more accessible, purer, more available. So if you had a remarkable dream, write it down, reflect, pray for discernment. Use the Bible as a tool to decipher the symbols. It may be the answer you have been searching for. Angels are attentive to your prayers, your anxieties, your cries, and when they come, they bring with them light, direction, and purpose. Don't ignore these nocturnal visits. They may hold the key to your next spiritual station. And if you think it's crazy, Just wait until you feel someone by your side, even when you're completely alone. That's what we're going to talk about now. There are times, my brother, when we are physically alone. But you know, something there doesn't let us feel truly alone. It's as if the environment is filled with an invisible but comforting presence. There is no noise, there is no shadow, there is no physical touch, but there is peace, there is light, there is comfort. And if you have ever felt this, believe me, it was a clear sign of the presence of angels. They don't need to show themselves with wings and trumpets. Sometimes all they do is be there, by your side, while you think you are alone in the middle of the battle. This often happens during prayer. You are there, kneeling, pouring out your heart, not knowing if you are being heard, and suddenly, a warmth, a shiver, a weight that lifts from your shoulders. It is as if someone is hugging you from the inside. In Psalm 91:11 it is written, "For he will give his angels charge over you, to guard you in all your ways. They are with you in the dark of your room, in the church pew, on the empty bus, in the silent dawn. They are sent to accompany you, especially when no one else can." I know people who have told me about feeling a gentle hand on their shoulder when they were crying, or a sense of peace in the midst of a panic attack. A young man once told me that after praying in despair, he felt as if someone was sitting there by his bed, just watching, but in silence. And he wasn't afraid. On the contrary, he was grateful. That invisible companionship calmed his soul. And that's what angels do. They bring the peace that the world doesn't understand, the protection that can't be seen, the presence that transforms dark environments into havens of hope. This feeling of companionship can also come on ordinary days, as you wash the dishes, drive, or read a verse. It's as if a silent light fills the space and your heart knows, even without understanding, I am not alone. Faith becomes palpable in these moments. And when you open yourself to this experience, you realize that God is much more present than you imagine. He does not abandon his children, and he uses his angels as living signs of care, protection, and comfort. It's not just emotion, it's revelation, it's intuition, being activated by a divine presence. So, the next time you feel alone, even when surrounded by silence, close your eyes, take a deep breath, say a prayer, even if it's just a "Thank you, Lord, for not leaving me." Be thankful for the invisible company, for the subtle signs, for divine faithfulness, because the angels are there, even if you can't see them. And sometimes when everything seems too calm, it's because they're keeping the chaos out. And it's like this, in this sacred space of protection, that heaven begins to align everything in your life, including the coincidences that aren't coincidences. And that's what we're going to see now. Have you ever experienced something so perfectly aligned that you thought, this can't just be a coincidence? Like thinking about someone and then that person calling you right away? Or seeing the same numbers, verses, phrases over and over again, as if the universe were nudging you? That's right. There's a name for it: synchronicity. And spiritually speaking, it's one of the most delicate and intelligent signs used by angels to show you that you're on the right path, or that you need to adjust your route. It's not coincidence, it's divine intervention, it's veiled protection, it's intuition brought to life by their presence acting silently. Angels operate on a frequency that goes far beyond what we can perceive with our eyes and ears. They use everyday events to answer our prayers, confirm our decisions, and redirect us when we get off track. It's as if they're guiding us through subtle but powerful clues. You pray for an answer and, on the same day, you hear someone talking about that exact subject. Or you open the Bible to a verse that answers your question precisely. This is synchronicity. It's a sign. It's heaven moving the pieces of life like a master strategist. These alignments aren't just pretty, they're spiritually significant. For example, numbers like 111, 222, or 444 are often referred to as angel numbers. And if they appear frequently, trust me, it's not just aesthetics. Often, these numbers carry specific messages. 444, for example, is related to angelic protection and divine presence. When these signs recur, it's time to stop and ask, what does God want me to see here? Because yes, He does speak. And when we don't speak to Him, He answers us through angels and circumstances. The Bible shows us this beautifully in the story of Esther. In Esther 4:14, Mordecai says, "Who knows if you were not made queen for such a time as this?" Look at that, a perfectly orchestrated life situation to fulfill a greater purpose. This is biblical synchronicity, my brother. Nothing happened by chance, and your life is not made up of coincidences either. God writes straight, with lines that seem crooked to us, but which, seen from heaven, are perfect. And the angels, as good heavenly assistants, help to unfold this plan day after day. So, when something strange happens more than once, pay attention. Don't dismiss it. Don't trivialize it. It could be a repeated verse, a name that comes up frequently, an opportunity that presents itself again. Say a prayer asking for discernment. Be thankful for the signs. Because when you live with faith, with spiritual sensitivity, nothing is just a coincidence anymore. Everything takes on purpose. Everything aligns. The angels are there, coordinating meetings, words, ideas, and all of this to remind you that God is guiding your life with love and care. And now that you know these 9 signs, perhaps you realize that they were always there. You just needed to pay attention. Now that you know the 9 signs of the presence of angels, tell me, which of these have you felt? Did any of them touch your heart in a special way? Have you ever felt that peace that no one understood or found a feather where it shouldn't be? Share your experience in the comments below. It will strengthen the faith of other people who are going through similar moments. If you felt that this content spoke to your soul, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. That way, you won't miss any of the next videos, because there are still many revelations coming that can transform your spiritual life. Oh, and if you want to continue on this journey of faith, click on the video that appears on the screen now. It will show you other spiritual signs that you need to know to understand what God is saying to you. May the angels of the Lord continue to surround your home with light, peace, and protection. I hope to see you in the next video. See you then!